Hello Shiny viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. If you do a research on the most successful people on earth, you will find that most of them will tend to be the NJ types, especially the INTJ and the ENTJ. Of course, there will be some exceptions, like Warren Buffett is typed typically as the ISTJ. But nonetheless, most of all these successful people end with a J. But this does not mean that the P types, they cannot be successful. It's just that amongst successful people, they are very rare. So Donald Trump is an ESTP, and we can consider him to be at least financially successful. So a lot of times you realize that successful people need not be morally ethical, although it's a desirable trait. So Elon Musk is typically typed in the internet as an INTJ, but he has a lot of ENTJ characteristics. But then yet again, the INTJ and the ENTJ can be very similar in the way they process information. Hence, they can be very similar and indistinguishable at times, especially when you do not know them well. So why are the NJ types or the NTJ types overly represented amongst successful people when they are only a rare breed in the entire population of MBTI personalities? Well, this is very obvious. If the NTJ types are the more successful types, it is apparent that when you process information, you should think deep, you should find parallels, and all your decisions should balance between logic and intuition, and not only one alone. It's very hard for you to be successful if you have only logic or if you use intuition. Most people, especially the NFPs, they use neither. For the INTJ and the ENTJ, success is having money so that we have a lot of freedom. But on its own, ethical issues is really out of the question, especially for ENTJs. Especially for the ENTJs, the moral compass is really out of the way. If our staff are not performing, out he or she goes. We do not try to be empathetic by saying that, oh, because this person is the sole breadwinner of the family, okay, we have to take pity on this person. You take responsibility for yourself. So one of the things that struck me when I read more about Elon Musk is that he could be slightly ENTJ-ish. So I would consider him to be an INTJ turbulent if he is an INTJ. So as an INTJ turbulent, his TE value will be higher, FI value will be lower, making him more like the ENTJ. In some of my previous episodes, I mentioned that the INTJ can be a very faithful person. But actually, this could be a myth as well. A lot of the successful INTJs that I know, my personal friends as well, are actually promiscuous. Yes, they are loyal to one partner, but they sleep around, so to speak. And interestingly, they let their partners know that this is the case, and it is like acceptable in the family. So would you really consider that as being unethical? I don't know. A lot of us in our current time, we live in units whereby it can be a little bit dysfunctional. Like, you go and play yours, I go and play mine. This is perfectly acceptable. If you have this kind of a setting, do you still consider yourself to be unfaithful? Most human beings tend to judge other human beings based on their personal standards. But the INTJ and the ENTJ have very unique standards of our own. We set our own boundaries. We have our own principles that many people may not understand. And maybe because of that, that is why it makes us successful. We are bendable, flexible in our own sense, not like the normal people who want to follow norms. Nevertheless, given that the NJ types, especially the NTJ types, are overrepresented in the higher society or the upper class society or the successful society, this really means something about the NTJs. So fellow INTJs and ENTJs, you definitely have a head start in creating your own success. So there are a lot of different grades of INTJs and ENTJ, ranging from highly functional to dysfunctional. So I have experienced all of my different grades. When at my best, I am an inspirational creature. But at my worst, I am actually a tyrant, a monster. So I'm sure INTJs and fellow ENTJs, you have experienced for yourself this spectrum of different INTJs and ENTJs. They are really there. All of them could be equally successful. So do not hold yourself back because of these perceptions that actually I'm more dysfunctional this time, because you will shift along the way. You are a flexible creature. So let's all continue to strive towards success. This doesn't sound like an inspirational speech, but nevertheless, I think INTJs and ENTJs, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, at our channel we cover a lot of INTJ and ENTJ material. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more INTJ, ENTJ, MBTI and fun stuff. Okay, I am going to sign off now and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye.